start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry. We get onto a journey to understand their experiences and the things that they have gone through and the way they got into the ministry, how they experienced the life of the ministry and how they are now living a life in retirement. The journey of their lives that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. They have a lot of experience and we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry. We will continue with the program interviewing different ministers in their environment, in their homes, so that we also get to know what they do today in the day-to-day life, and then we'll get to learn how to work with them and prepare ourselves that are active also for retirement. My name is Karemi Momboi. Welcome to the premiere episode of The Rangers. So today we are dealing with Reverend Harun Ngere, the minister of St. Andrew's Church in Nairobi. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, I am. And thank you for having me here.
Reverend Ngere, you have done research on the area of retirement as part of your academic work. Could you please tell us what really prompted you to select that particular topic?
Thank you. Year 2 or 3, I became a member of the pension scheme of PCA. And having interacted with the service providers in areas of the pension industry in our country, by extension the RBA, and having witnessed what people are going through. Bear in mind the pension scheme or the department in our church is like the one that actually parting shot. When you are done with the ministry and you are retiring, this is the department that will come to clear you. I experienced a lot of challenges as a trustee of many people who are retiring, and then when they are coming to correct their dues, I could see a lot of challenges and a lot of gaps. That one triggered me to explore this area. And that one became the genesis of thinking of that I can do a research in order to prepare people for the retirement.
Okay.
Because that's another life altogether.
So, in essence, you are saying that what informed your choice of the research was the retirement specifically of ministers.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you finally get to experience, or what did you gather in your document about retirement?
Well, one thing that was so clear at the back of my mind that I will retire one day.
Okay.
And actually seeing a minister that some of them that I respected most since my onset in the ministry, and they are coming out to retire, and hearing some people actually expressing some kind of bitterness of how they are parting with the church that they have laid the foundations. That one became a little trigger to me. And then I asked myself, how can I avoid that kind of a scenario? 30 years of great ministry, you have blessed so many people, you have laid the foundation, and now when the time comes for you to leave, you feel like you have been given a low deal. That one really, at the back of my mind, it became a trigger, and I felt that something needs to be done. By then, 2 or 3, I could not do much. I was just but a clergy.
Yes.
And what came up in my mind is, what is the HR department doing in our church?
Yeah.
And by extension, the office of the DSG.
Yeah.
As a clergy, I felt there is something that is missing within in our church. And therefore, by and by, By the year, when I was already done 5 years as a member of the pension scheme, the year 2008, I just decided to diversify my studies.
Okay.
And I felt there is the need to do something. And that one, what came up in my mind, I want to do strategic management. Because I found retirement is being strategic. It's forward-looking.
Yes.
And one need to be prepared because it is imminent. Therefore, when I decided to diversify my studies, there was an offer for me to go and do my postgraduate studies in US, Columbia. And I felt I have a diploma in theology and now a degree in theology, why don't I diversify? And what came up very clearly is to go and do strategic management.
Yes.
Because this was a trigger about the issue of the retirement. And then when the time came for me to do my thesis, I found this the light area for me to explore. After I was done with my coursework in the MBA, and the time for me to come and do a project, the retirement came up in my mind that I approached Professor Gitonga, who gladly gave me an permission that I can do a research in the retirement.
Okay.
And PCA being a case study. And by then, I came to realize there was no such a study or research that had been done to our church. So it became a very fertile ground for me to explore.
Yes.
And there, went through the processes of the institution, gave me permission to do a research in our church. And here we are now.
Okay. So for you, what I'm gathering is that retirement is a process as opposed to a one-time happening.
Yeah, retirement is not a destination. It's a journey.
Yes.
It's a journey, and retirement is relative. Depending on the individual,
Yes.
how you approach it. Because many a times people see it like far-fetched, and we deal with the current, forgetting that it is so imminent because finally it will come.
Yes.
So, and it's not one-off. It's a call for preparations. And even when I was doing the research, I found that I should more target young people.
Okay.
Because the many decisions that you make later from the onset, cumulatively, you determine the kind of the retirement.
Okay.
Even how soon you marry. If you delay, like you never marry. Only to get married or to marry at a very advanced age. Time may come when you are not working and the children need you.
Okay.
So that's how, even when I doing the research, it came up very clear to the back of my mind.
Okay. So maybe as a matter of interest, are you nearing retirement?
Personally, I'm on my countdown.
Countdown.
Because I'll be turning 58
Yes.
next year.
Next year.
And between me and my retirement, I've been decided to have a sabbatical leave
Okay.
for 1 year.
Okay.
Before finally I be at 60. For me, though the church talk about 65, it's so clear to the back of my mind, I want to retire at 60.
Okay.
And I know even in the government, the issues to do the statutory deduction is up to 60.
Yes.
By God's grace, the church is talking about 5 years, which is renewable.
Yes.
Personally, I feel I can do another thing. And the other thing that I've been preparing to do is to prepare people for their retirement.
Okay. So in essence, you are telling us that you are fully prepared for retirement.
I cannot say fully prepared,
Yes.
but I'm looking forward for my retirement with a lot of excitement.
Yes. Holistically, you are prepared. So now you said something that is very important, that you want to retire at 60 and you think the retirement should be at 60. But I was thinking, we have had a debate, an ongoing debate where some ministers feel that the retirement age of ministers should be raised beyond 65. What do you think?
Well, one thing that you need to know about the church ministry, unlike other career, one is ordained for life,
Yes.
but the service is rendered up to a certain age. And I'm telling you that's the tall order, some people. Because when you come in as a minister, you're ordained for life. You remain a minister till death. But you are an employee of the church up to, even when you talk about 5 years.
Yes.
At 60, according to the existing rules by the RBA, nobody can deduct you your money after you have turned 60.
Okay.
After that one, you are not allowed. So these are local arrangement with the church.
Okay. Okay.
And if you have not been prepared, turning to 60, and you look like you are not prepared, what is this that you are going to do the next 5 years? And you know, according to the human development stages, the onset of the old age is 60.
Okay.
And old age is associated with a number of challenges. Some people are not endowed with good health. Even you don't have the muscles. And mind you, do you know the ministry is not a collar job?
I know.
It's a kind of hybrid. Casual, collar, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
So for me, it beats the logic.
So you would advocate for retirement at 60?
Why was put at 60?
Yes.
This is a research that has been done.
Okay.
One thing that came to realize when I was doing my research is that the actuarial guys, their role, even when they are during the computation of your annuity, they come into play.
Yes.
Because even though it is not officially announced, it's given that they base their computations by 15 years. In quotes, it's like saying, upon the retirement 60, government does not really expect you to go beyond 15 years. So at 75, but if you still be there,
Yes.
because it's give and take, if you are not actually contributing to the covers, and the other side you are also spending to government, you are just but a liability.
Okay.
And for your information, that's why the RBA is very keen to protect. In fact, if there is one parastatal in this country that is armed and to ensure the money is protected, is RBA.
Okay.
And for me, my interpretation is to ensure this money is protected to avoid a scenario of so many elderly people without a livelihood.
I know.
Because even the money that you get after the retirement, it is not meant for capex, capital expenditures.
Yes.
It's meant to sustain you and the basic needs,
Okay.
not for any other.
Okay.
So it's an issue that needs to be made very clear for one to prepare right away from the onset. It should not, in fact, retirement should not be like the 11th hour project.
Okay.
And after that, cumulatively, you should be prepared with whatever you do.
So you have been a member of the retirement scheme of the PCA Church. And in the experience that you went through earlier in the retirement scheme is that there is a kind of a lacuna, something missing. And then you did a research on that. So did you offer your recommendations to the church? And if so, what were the recommendations?
Some of the findings that I came to realize in our church is the lack of adequate retirement preparation awareness.
Okay.
That one came up very clearly. That's one of the findings that I found. The other thing is the lack of innovation and the essential skills. Because it's another phenomenon. Retirement is another phase of life. And there must be some things that you need to have them on your fingertip. Another finding that I found is the poor communication. Remember, our church, it's all over. And in terms of the communication to the pensioners, in terms of attending to the meetings, and in terms of the people getting to know up to date. Because the issue to do with the retirement is so much with the Minister of the Finance.
Yes.
At any time there is a budget reading every year. There are some clauses that touches about the retirement.
Okay.
The other thing is that lack of this issue of the retirement is not entrenched in the training, even in the college.
Okay. Okay.
See, a minister enter into a college, you go the entire period studying, but nobody actually who tells you you shall retire. And there's no mention about it. And also, another finding is that though the DSG office is the one who do the HR, the issue of the HR per se, expertise, whereby there is orientation when you are coming in, and there is also the issue of the retentions and knowing exactly what is happening is a big problem. And by lack of the policies and the programs concerning the retirement. That's what I found. And as a result of doing my research and carrying all other things, there is what I came with as a recommendation to the church.
Okay.
It's well captured in my thesis.
Okay.
And I shared a copy, as it is the routine when you are doing a research from a certain organization. When you have the findings, so my research paper, my thesis is in the head office.
Okay.
One thing that we came to as a recommendation, there's the need for church to put the operational retirement strategies because they are not there. In our constitution, the PP, is only a mention upon the retirement. The church will organize a Thanksgiving service. And the issue is to be done by the presbytery, up to there. That's not good enough. Number two, from onset, clergy should, the awareness of the retirement.
Okay. Train.
And I thank God because currently, alternating year, this is one of the recommendations that I'm proud of, that alternating years there is training which is done in the centers, that is in the region.
Okay, okay.
And it's done by the pension scheme. Then the other one is once you are employed by the church, although it is now actually being taken by the employment trends, whereby you employ people on the contract, joining the scheme, pension scheme, that one is a must.
Okay.
Once the church engage you, because there is full programs that are there to prepare. The other thing, and that's a recommendation, the issue to do with the pension be entrenched in the curriculum, in the theological college. Okay. So that even this first year student, by the time you will be finishing, you are well equipped. The other one is about regular capacity building. That even when the church is having like ministers, they have the fraternal. Among the areas that they should at least make sure there's somebody to come and give a talk. Okay. Initial to do like investments. The other thing is we try to demystify because in our old constitution, a minister ought not to do any other things. Yours is in the pulpit. And there was a reason why it was that. But people should be trained to be smart enough. Oh, yes. Don't allow the ministry to suffer. At the same time, in our country currently they are talking about the side hustle. As a minister of the gospel, do you have a side hustle? If the eventuality is not forthcoming, the income and you have the children, what other things should you do? Oh, yes. And people try to be more smarter when they are proceeding for their annual leave. The other thing, and that is very important, is to try to benchmark with other like-minded. Because PCA is one of the mainstream church. We have the Anglican, and for your information, Anglican, usually the package of ministers who are retiring, you cannot compare with our church. Theirs is well organized. Because one of the areas that our people are missing is when you move from one presbytery to another presbytery. Some presbyteries do not limit. Remittance is a big challenge. And by the time you come to finish, you cannot imagine when I was doing the retirement, the research, was a clergy who was retiring at after that 30 years of the service, and the total package was 300,000. What is that? Only to come to realize that he was moving from one corner to another corner, leaving the money there, and retracing the same become a big problem. And finally, and this one, and I engaged the Festus Gitonga. When I actually came up, this recommendation came up out of my research, is the formation of the retired clergy warfare. You have been in the church, in the pulpit for 30 years. You retire, you come from the other side of the Kenya, that is in Gitari, and you are detached from your colleagues that you have worked together. This one should be formed and be also in the central budget of the church.
Yes.
That quarterly or once in a year or twice in a year, where all the clergies may come, like spend the whole weekend at the Milele. There are people who lay the foundations, they connect with one another, and they know how they look familiar to one another, but there is a detachment in our church.
Okay. Could you have put up those recommendations into a book?
Yeah, after my research, I actually thought of coming up with a book. I'm an author.
No, I know.
I've done 8 books, and my 4th book was the Retirement and the Related.
Yes.
A book that I have sold around 5,000 copies.
Okay.
And this one was informed by my research. And I feel with my recommendation in the headquarters and this book, I feel I need to raise it to a higher notch.
Okay.
And that's why I'm thinking, because currently I'm writing a book, my 9th book is on the areas of the retirement, now with the dimension of the modernity.
Okay.
Because currently you see the gated community are becoming more popular than in the past, whereby anybody who is working in the city, the desire was to have a home in the rural. Without a home in the rural, and you are retiring, well, people could see you like this is what it is. But the insecurity and the lifestyle in the interior is becoming a big challenge. But now for you to be in the gated community, you need liquid.
Yes.
Because one of the big challenge is the liquidity. Some people are very rich, but with a caprot in Kamuru, another caprot in Machakos, and when you need the money to meet your medical expense, you are unable. So I want to come up with a book that will embrace the aspect of the globalization, the innovation, so that we know where we are. And I really appreciate for that.
Now, it seems like you have a lot of information to share with us in this program, and we might at some point give you some more time to share, and especially getting to know more about those books. Otherwise, for now, we want to thank you for taking your time. I know we got you from the office and you had so many things that you're going to do and you are doing, but we want to thank you for sharing with us that information and coming to this program, the very first inaugural or premiere episode of The Legends, as we go to interview the retired ministers and get to know what they are going through. Otherwise, thank you so much.
My parting shot.
Yes.
Retirement is not something that you need to delegate to anybody.
Okay.
It's your business.
Yes.
And whether you like it or not,
You will.
you meet it at the end, and you'll be all alone. And there is nothing that is so humiliating like being old and poor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you. And pass our love to your family. Thank you. That was a very exciting discussion with Reverend Ngere, and he gave us insights into the preparation for retirement. On the next episode of The Legends, we will welcome into the program the Reverend Festus Gitonga, a former Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, who himself has intimated to me several times that he has one more year to go. So we want to understand how he is preparing himself for retirement and the experiences when he was a Secretary General and the advice that he can give to many of us. So we welcome you to our next program of The Legends.